throws, and it's intercepted. It's intercepted by number 22. That's Clifton. He's got the left edge. Turns on the Jets. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Calaveras. What a play. Up to a running back. That's Ferrante over to the right side. He comes back up the middle. He's got room. One man to beat. He turns on the Jets. There he goes. Touchdown, Calaveras. What a play.
All right, welcome everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk Football with Coach Val. I'm your host, Gil Valtierra, the voice of Calaveras football. It's game night, baby, and your Calaveras Redhawks are back home after 3 straight weeks on the road to play River Islands on Homecoming Night 2024. That's right, it's homecoming at Frank Meyer Field in San Andreas. Get on down there to watch the game tonight. My guest today is none other than head varsity football coach at Calaveras High, Coach Manny Mossa. Coach, when you win 55-7, they love you.
Right.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. So, hey, let's look at, we always start off every week with, hey, let's look back at the week in the world of Calaveras football. Mm-hmm. We start off with the youth program that were on the road to face the Linden Lions junior program. I got some information from Coach Gregory Mills, as always, and looks like they were victorious in that game to remain undefeated. They won 39-26. Actually, can't believe 26 points was put up against them because they've been playing some pretty stout defense, but nonetheless, a victory there, 39-26. Looks like Tucker Mills had 77 yards and a touchdown, 2 tackles and a fumble recovery. Bronson Jenkins had a touchdown with 2 tackles. Jax Watson, 86 yards with 3 touchdowns and 5 tackles. Gino Varney with 18 yards and a touchdown, along with 4 tackles. Trent Hughes had a tackle. Talon Sink had a tackle. Vincent Vela had a tackle. And big 39-26 to remain undefeated. Any comments on that junior novice game, Coach?
Yeah, it looked like a tough game from what I can see. Usually you see Mills and Watson have over 100 yards, and it looked like they earned every bit that they got there, 77, 86 yards. I mean, just watching it, it was back and forth a little bit, and then Calaveras finally started to pull away in the second half. But it was a good game, good test for them too.
You bet.
Really good test for them. Like, hey, they haven't been scored on like that, so they have some things to fix now.
Well, it's always good to face a little adversity to go, oh, wait a minute, this is what it's like to have to actually compete.
Right, exactly. So, another 7-on-7 game too. So we talk about 7-on-7, a lot of space. Well, it works against you as well.
Right.
And I seen a couple of plays where it worked against them. They had some good athletes on the Linden football team.
Moving on to the novice game, Calaveras was victorious 39-0. Offensively, Nolan Mint had 5 carries for 180 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's putting in some work there. Number 7, Ethan Mossa, 8 carries for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns. Gregory Mills, 1 carry for 10 yards and a touchdown. Levi Lim, 6 carries for 36 yards and 2 extra points. Hayden Trio had 3 carries for 7 yards. Sammy Arledge, 2 carries for 13 yards. Yep. Gotta love Sammy. I love it when I see him run the football. Coach says the offensive line dominated the day again. Offensive line, Lucas Mellinger, Roman Armis, Landon Nunez, Braden Rowe, Landon Carne Asada, Cooper Watson. Coach also mentioned defensively that Tyler West had 3 tackles and a half sack. Landon Nunez, 2 tackles for a loss. Landon Carne Asada, 2 tackles and a half a sack. Levi Lim, 2 tackles for a loss. Gregory Mills, 2 tackles for a loss. Mint, 2 tackles for a loss. Sammy Arledge, Lucas Mellinger, Leonard Powers all had 1 tackle for a loss each. and the defense have played with relentless effort for 4 complete quarters. Coach, you were on the sideline. Some comments on that game.
Yeah, I felt like our guys really come to play, and, it's a different time. At Linden, they don't play under the lights for the varsity game. You start early. I think junior novice was 9:30. Novice was 11 o'clock. And, our guys, they showed up ready to go. Our O-line opened up some really good holes, and Bax did a good job. Gregory Mills, he did a great job commanding the offense. We've talked about this before. He when your quarterback steps in the huddle and nobody speaks and he commands it, he says the play, he knows what's going on, he adjusts a few guys that need to be adjusted. That's what he did. And so,
that's great to see at that level at such a young age.
Yeah, and I think even though we didn't throw the ball once, I felt like he had his best game of the year, honestly, and it shows, man. Everybody got on somebody. Our sweep blocking was good. Our inside run was good. Guys are pushing guys off the ball, and heck, I think with those touchdowns, I'm pretty sure I think every touchdown, but maybe one, nobody got touched.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I saw some film, and I've got to say, Nolan Mint back was nice, all those yards and his speed. Mm-hmm. But also number 7, Ethan Mossa, had a big game last week, added a couple new things to his repertoire. I saw a couple of nice little straight arms in the film that went, whoa, where did those come from? And so, Coach, share with us, where'd the straight arm come from?
Well, this comes from his mother asked him where the straight arms come from, and I guess that's what I do to him when we start wrestling. Me and him. That's from what I hear. So,
get off me, kid.
Yeah, so I guess he's picking something up.
He picked up the straight arm. It's like you're coaching even when you don't think you're coaching.
Right. Yeah, those were a surprise to me too. He's not a big guy. But yeah, he had a couple of really good ones on that run. I'll give him that.
I was impressed. I saw that. Everybody knows already his speed, but then to add that straight arm to his repertoire, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with as he gets older. Let's move on to the Calaveras JV game. Coach Vince Montgomery sent over some information on that one. Unfortunately, Calaveras fell short. They lost to Linden 32-13 on that game. But number 44, Luca Varney, the running back, had 71-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. So great job to him. Number 22, Carter Lim, also a running back, had 10 carries for 26 yards. Number 21, Mason Williams, running back, 9 carries for 52 yards. Number 10, Bryce Potello, running back, had 8 carries for 56 yards. And defensively, number 22, Carter Lim, had an interception and a touchdown for 71 yards, so great job to him. Number 44, Luca Varney, the middle linebacker, had 4 tackles and a sack. The comments were that Linden's offense was very good in discipline, and Calaveras' defense allowed 233 yards rushing with 152 yards passing and 5 touchdowns. That Linden JV team, a force to be reckoned with, it looks like.
Yeah. I stuck around and watched the games this week, and I didn't think Calaveras did all that bad. You look at the rushing yards. Obviously, they were looking to stop number 22 Carter Lim. 10 carries for 26 yards. That's not 2.6 yards per carry. Not very good. But Williams and Botello both had Williams had 5+ yards to carry. Botello 7+ yards to carry. And as you get deeper in the season, you got to be okay with 3, 4, 5 yards a carry. You know what I mean? And I think watching the JV team, Linden was scoring at will. They were scoring pretty quickly. They had some big plays. They were throwing the ball around, and I don't think Calaveras was doing that bad. But when the other team is busting off 30, 40, 50-yard runs and pass plays, sometimes you get a little too eager. The 5-yard runs just aren't good enough. You know what I mean? And that would probably be what I would say. I think Linden jumped on him and then and really started throwing the ball toward the end of the game. I don't know if they're working on stuff or really trying to stick it to Calaveras, but I think there's something Calaveras they just got to get better at.
Well, And you're right. I mean, sometimes when you're with the little guys, and especially say the junior novice 7-on-7, there's so much open field there, and all of a sudden these big long 20-yard touchdown runs seem like it's the norm. But as you get older, you get into the later stages, JV, varsity, and especially when you get into high school, those become few and far between.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, some of the best drives I've been, a play caller on or witnessed are 20 plays.
Yeah,
at 4 or 5 yards a pop.
Yeah, 7-8 minutes
just
consumed.
Wear the defense out, dude. I mean, those right there are the best ones because, from the defensive side of the ball, you can't go to the sideline and go, they got one on us.
Right.
No. We earned every single one of those 20-plus plays, you know what I mean?
That's right. Okay, so I'm sure Coach Vince Montgomery will get those guys refocused and back next week again and back at it. Moving on to the varsity at the youth program, Coach Troy Paulson sent me some information on that game. Looks like Matthew Timewell took the opening kickoff back 42 yards and put Calaveras in a great field position to start the game. Timewell had 2 pass catches for 35 yards and a 10-yard run for a touchdown. He was also 4 for 4 kicking on the extra point, so great job there. Calaveras quarterback David Devich went 5 for 6 for 85 yards passing and handed the ball off for 268 yards of rushing. Devich took the field with the offense in 5 series and scored all 5 times. That's leading your team. I can't say how you can't do much better than that. Ryan James Dickerson had 2 catches for 35 yards. Jamison Atkins had 3 carries for 15 yards. Gavin Verduso had 2 carries for 22 yards. Ashton Nunn had 1 carry for 10 yards. Austin Locke, number 5, had 13 carries for 123 yards with 3 rushing touchdowns. Locke also caught a pass for a 13-yard touchdown, totaling 4 touchdowns on the day. That's putting in some work, Coach.
Big day.
Traxton Goebel, I know I've been saying gobble, so Traxton, I apologize for that. I was told it's Goebel. In my defense, you've been running the ball and doing so well. I thought you were just gobbling up all them yards, so that's why I was going with gobble. But you might want to think about that. Maybe go to gobble instead, Traxton. But either way, so Traxton Goebel had 9 carries for 60 yards and scored on an extra point. Goebel led the way all day, doing the hard work at fullback, putting in the blocks and the hard runs to set Calaveras up to score. Yeah. Now, I got to tell you, Coach, I got a phone call early this morning by Coach Troy Paulson, the head coach of the varsity program. He wanted me to make sure that I talked about on this podcast today about Traxton Goebel, and not just this last game, all season long, the kind of work that he's been putting in. And you know, as I know, that from a coaching perspective, there are certain guys on football teams that don't get the stat lines that a lot of the other guys do. But I'll tell you what, those guys with the stat lines, they wouldn't have those stat lines if it wasn't for these other guys that are putting in the kind of work they're putting in. Coach Paulson wanted to make sure that there were big props for putting out to Traxton Goebel for, he said basically all the touchdown that Austin Locke's been running for was usually a result of Goebel underneath making an incredible block to open up the hole so that Locke can get through there and run. So big props to Traxton Goebel, a fullback. Most fullbacks kind of go unnoticed, sort of like the O-line. They kind of go like, no one notices. They just notice who scored. And so thanks for the phone call from Troy Paulson, the head coach, and wanted to make sure his fullback got a little bit of love.
Yeah. I stuck around and watched the game. Goebel does the dirty work, and he's not a big guy, but he does the dirty work and he does it well. That's to me, that's Calaveras football right there. They were 4-0. Lynn was 4-0. Calaveras handled them.
Wow.
Handled them up front. Did what they needed to do. I thought Devich threw the ball very well. Very well. Not a whole bunch of times. What was he, 5 for 6, I think? So six total pass attempts, 85 yards, but every one of them just seemed to be just a killer,
Mm-hmm.
I was very impressed with that varsity football team. They really – it was good. They came out and showed Linden something, and that's good because coming up, they got Houston, who's 5-0. It's 5-0 versus 5-0 this coming week. So I may be sticking around later in the next one.
That's going to be a big game. And that one's where? Where's that one going to be?
At Houston.
At Houston.
Yep. Grass.
Okay. Grass field.
Love grass.
Gosh, I forgot what that smells like.
No, I'm telling you, I love traveling to grass fields.
The next time my wife drags me into one of those Bed Bath Beyonds, like, you got any candles that smell like fresh cut grass? I'd buy like a gross of those things. All right. Well, if you heard it, folks, down at Houston, should be a big game for the Calaveras varsity program. And Traxton Global, keep up the good work with your team there, your teammates, your coaches, all see it and appreciate it. Moving on to the Calaveras junior varsity high school team. They were down at Riverbank in the Central Valley, and they were victorious 23-0. Coach Tapia's got them back on the winning side. I know you only see a little bit of that game, Coach, but any comments on that one?
Yeah, no, I thought Calaveras got back to doing what we do. You know, they got back to the run game and ran the ball very well. You know, it's league now. You know, things, especially for JV. You know, there's no playoffs for JV.
Right.
It's a league title or bust. You know what I mean? So they got game one in league. So it's a good one to build on. Looking forward to see what they do here in the future. You know, they're gonna have some tough games here as we get into league.
You bet every game from here on out, the Motherlode League title is up for grabs. Moving on to the varsity team at the high school. Obviously, Calaveras was victorious 55-7 over Riverbank in their opening Motherlode League game. I was there live watching the game, calling it for KVGC radio. Pretty exciting game. What I want to ask you, Coach, and probably a lot of guys want to ask, is that initial drive by Riverbank, that quarterback opened up, looked like he was going to throw the short little hitch to that wide out receiver. The corner stepped up to I'm going to jump all over that. And now to his credit, that corner was looking like, hey, I might take this the other way. He was being aggressive. And lo and behold, Riverbank pump faked it. That receiver kept running. They connected on down the field for a touchdown. Suddenly it's Riverbank 7, Calaveras 0. What was going through your mind at that point?
Oh, I mean, you know, I'm not a real happy person on the sideline for the most part. You know, I mean, there's always something to pick apart, and of course, you know, me being the DB coach as well. You know, I was looking at that one going, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
You know? But I will say I felt like that might have been something our team needed to really lock in and say, okay, you know, let's get back to doing our thing. Let's not try to do more than what we need to do. You know what I mean? You know, read our keys, get a pass run key, you know, get back if we need to get back. And I knew something was going to happen. You knew they were sitting on something, you know,
right.
And that was it. But after that, I felt like the guys really locked in pretty good defensively. I mean, I don't believe, I could be wrong, but I don't believe they completed a pass after that.
Yeah, and that was their only score of the entire night. And after that, Calaveras clearly took over. Looking at some of the statistics, Curran, the quarterback, was 6 for 11 for 168 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had 1 interception. Mm-hmm. I've got to say, I kind of personally, I protest this interception because I felt like there was a pass interference call in the end zone. The intended receiver would have been there to catch the ball had he not been contacted prior, you know. But anyways, the record will show he had 2 touchdowns, interception. Been a long time since I've seen a 6 for 11, 168 yard stat line for a Calaveras quarterback.
Well, and we tried throwing him more than that as well, but we had a lot of penalties. So
right.
A lot of pass attempts, pass completions were penalties that came back. So, you know, I felt like Curran did a good job. You know, kind of threw him to the wolves a little bit. You know, we ran some simple routes, simple things that you know, you got to make a good throw. Mm-hmm. You know, nothing off play action really, and I thought he did a very good job. He was composed. Again, I'm not the happiest coach on the sideline. You know, he took it well. He took constructive criticism very well, and I thought he played a very good game.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's a pretty well balanced, good stat line there. Would you say you're not the happiest coach, or would you say you're extremely focused on the sideline?
I like that one better. You're right.
Okay. You're extremely focused.
Yeah, much better.
So number 3, Chris Ortega, he had 4 catches for 78 yards receiving and a touchdown. A nice big play. Curran hit him. I want to say it was like 45-yard touchdown score. He had rolled off to his right, hit him. Curran broke a tackle. Ortega broke a tackle and then took off to the end zone. So that was a great play for Ortega. Clifton had is that right? 77 rushing yards, 1 carry for 77 rushing yards?
Yeah.
And a touchdown.
Yep.
Yeah. So that, a big play for him. Ferrante had a catch for 23 yards, and then he had 4 runs for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns rushing.
Yep.
So nice, efficient day on the ground rushing for him. Number 32, Spur, had 2 for 65 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Hernandez, 1 carry for 10 yards. Paulson, 1 carry for 20 yards. Ayala, 2 carries for -2. Got caught in the backfield on a couple of those sweeps. Reed. Coach, who's Reed?
Yeah, Dalton Reed.
Dalton Reed. One catch for 67 yards and a touchdown. Also had a kickoff return for a touchdown. Those of you who were there remember it was in the second half. His first touchdown, there was a short kick on a punt. Riverbank had to punt the ball. They kicked it. I thought when I was calling the game for KVGC, he's going to let this ball go and bounce, and then they're going to down it. But instead, he ran full speed forward in an attempt to catch it just on the fly. And I thought, oh, he's not going to get there. And he turned on the jets, and he got there and caught it. And when he caught it, it was like someone shot him out of a cannon, took off to the right side. Everybody else was standing around going, what just happened? And he took off for a long touchdown. And then he comes back a couple series later, runs that go route, 67 yards for 10. Where you been hiding this guy?
Yeah, he's been working in a little bit. Again, we don't throw the ball very much, and we haven't thrown the ball a whole bunch so far this year. And he's one of those guys. He's just been sitting and waiting. He's been waiting. He's been working. Route running's been getting really good, and yeah, he's speed.
He's speed. He's got some speed. And also Colton Ray had 2 carries for 23 yards. Mm-hmm. So Calaveras total 296 yards rushing on 13 attempts, 168 yards passing on 6 completions for a total of 464 total yards. That's an efficient day offensively. Comments from you about offensively, defensively, the whole game against Riverbank?
Yeah, no, I thought the kids, they played well. O-line did really good. We had plenty of time to throw the football. I think for us, the thing we got to clean up the penalties. We had a lot of penalties, more than normal. You always expect a few penalties, but we got to clean those penalties up. But I was happy to see some guys get involved. Didn't have a lot of plays, second half, it was a running clock the entire second half.
Right.
So, it's tough. We want to try to get guys in. We want to try to see some guys play. And when you got a running clock, you don't have a lot of plays. You don't have a lot of, would we have 13 total rushes?
Mm-hmm.
That's not very many for a football game.
Right.
And passes, we had, how many attempts we have? 11?
6. Yeah, it's completed 11 attempts.
So 11 attempts plus 13 rush, that's only 24 plays.
Usually it's like 50,
60.
50, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So, the penalties obviously took some from that. The running clock took some from that. But it was good to see some guys get involved. And we have a lot of things to build on. What I love about our team is it seems like every week we have somebody else step up. And us coaches on Sunday, we're like, hey, well, he played pretty well.
He may be able to help us over here.
Yeah. Now, okay, well, how do we get him in? Who do we take out? You know what I mean? So it's a great problem to have, and guys are loving it. Guys are playing well, and it's got to keep that thing rolling.
You bet. It's a good problem to have. So right about this time, Coach, we go through a couple of player interviews and coaches interviews that we did. Before we do that, though, we're going to hear from a word from our sponsor, and when we come back, we'll hear from some of these Calaveras players. We'll be right back. Ready to transform your backyard into an outdoor paradise? Look no further than the Paver Company, specializing in hardscaping, landscaping, outdoor living spaces, turf, decking, and more. They are your one-stop shop for all your yard upgrade needs. As a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years' experience, the Paver Company takes pride in their top-notch craftsmanship. Get started today with a free estimate and custom design. Make your yard the envy of the neighborhood. Visit us at thepavercompany.com or call us at 916-222-8844 to schedule your consultation. That's 916 222-8844. Let's turn your backyard dreams into reality with the Paver Company. All right, welcome back. And as promised, we're going to talk to a couple of these Calaveras players. The first one's going to be number 6, the quarterback, Cohen Curran, who was 6 for 11, 168 yards and 2 touchdowns. And let's see what Cohen had to say. All right, I'm with number 6, starting varsity quarterback at Calaveras High, Cohen Curran. Cohen, congratulations on the big win over at Riverbank. You threw the ball a whole lot more than we're accustomed to seeing a Calaveras quarterback throw the ball. Tell me how the week of practice was and how you felt going into the game.
It felt really good. The week of practice felt like we put in a lot of stuff. We were able to really execute and do pretty good at practice this week. And in the game, I felt like all the stuff we put in, we kind of came to the game knowing what our job was and what to do. And I felt like we executed and we all did a great job. The O-line held their block and receivers got open.
You had 2 touchdown passes. One there in the second half, that deep throw, it was pretty nice. How did it feel to be able to go out there and, the game before you didn't throw the ball once, and then the next game you come out and you're slinging the ball, throwing touchdowns. How'd that feel?
It felt pretty good. Just knowing that, Dalton Reed, he was out there. It's one of his first times ever, catching the ball in a game. Scored 2 touchdowns.
All right, that was great.
Yeah, pretty good for him.
So tell me now, focusing on River Islands that's coming home. You guys after 3 straight weeks on the road, you're finally at home. What's the focus like for this week and getting ready for Friday?
I feel like this week, in a little bit, we're going to go here and we're going to go to the film room. We're going to look at the stuff, mistakes we made Friday, and we're going to go back and fix those. And then we're going to look at River Island, see what they run. We're putting our defense and offensive plays to run against them. We're going to execute.
All right, we heard it, folks. Number 6, that's Cohen Curran, quarterback. Come out on Friday night, watch him throw the ball around. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. So that's your quarterback, number 6, Cohen Curran. What'd you think about his comments?
No, he's stepping up into a leader. Even as a sophomore, he's been around me for a few years. And he really understands the offense and what we're trying to do, and we keep challenging him. We keep throwing more things in for him and other guys as well, and challenging him. And I like where he's at right now. I really do. I think he's really commanding the huddle. Making sure everyone hears the play. And the timing. Mm-hmm. Timing's a big deal in our offense. And our timing's good. So very happy with where he's at right now.
And he's a sophomore. Mm-hmm. So all of this experience, and then you get a couple more years. The next thing you know, his senior year, oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, granted, we're hoping not to wait for a senior year.
Right.
We
how about right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But and again, what's good for him and for the team this year is there's so many guys that can shoulder some of that burden.
Sure.
It's not just on him. So that's what I think is really good about it. And I thought he was very composed in the passing game last week. Especially for not having a whole bunch of reps at it. He was very composed. Guys were getting open. He was putting the ball on target. I really thought he had a good game.
Yeah, he did. Let's talk to one of the guys that protects his blind side up front, number 69, Jorn Bowerson, who's been having some great games these past few games. Let's see what he had to say. All right, I'm with number 69, Jorn Bowerson. Jorn, great game on Friday night, big win over Riverbank. Now you're coming home this week for a homecoming game. First, tell me about the game on Friday night. You went from the week before run blocking in every play to all of a sudden a lot of pass pro and pass blocking. How was that adjustment in 1 week to make sure you do a good job doing that?
Well, it was a smooth adjustment, especially during practices. We still ran our run blocks, but we did a little more pass blocking. So I think that helped us out for that game on Friday. I think it went pretty well. I think everybody handled it good, and I think we had some good pass rushing practice during the week.
All right. So now you're after 3 straight weeks on the road. You're back home for homecoming against River Islands. I hear that you're also nominated for Homecoming King, so good luck on that.
Thank you.
Tell me about how it's going to be like to balance all of the homecoming festivities and then the football game on Friday night.
Well, I just got taking like a regular week. Trying not to get too flustered during the week, especially since I'm a nominee for the homecoming court. But I'm just gonna take it out like a regular week, regular practice. We gotta get our run fits and or pass fits, whatever, and we just gotta practice. Let the coaches coach us and get ready to play on Friday.
All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck Friday night. We'll see you out there.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. Quick tackle, defensive lineman Jordan Bowerson. Comments on his comments.
Jordan's always ready to go. You know, that's got to be one of the hardest working guys we have on the football team. Smart. You know, he's on the blind side for a reason. You know, he's very, very smart. Not just a offensive tackle or defensive lineman. He's a very smart football player.
It's a tough spot to play. You're on an island over there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And he's earned that right to be there.
Right. All right, let's move on to our next player. It is number 5, Colton Ray. And I got to tell you, Coach, calling the game for KVGC, late in the game, you got different guys in there, and all of a sudden I'm looking at my roster, and 5's all over the place making plays, and 5's not on the roster. And I'm going, who is this guy? And so Greg Stark is texting somebody who texts someone who finally gets it back to us that This is Colton Ray. So let's see what Colton had to say. All right, I'm with number 5 for Calaveras, Colton Ray. He's a running back, linebacker. Colton, congratulations on the win Friday night against Riverbank. I know you've been out with an injury, and then that was your first game back. In fact, I called the game for KVGC Radio, and the roster wasn't even up to date, so you were out there making plays, and I'm like, who's this number 5 cat? Because I didn't even have you on the roster. Tell me a little bit about how it felt from coming from an injury, not really being impactful, to all of a sudden coming into a game and making big plays.
You know, feels really good. It's been a long road, just being injured, having surgery, not being able to practice with my guys for almost 3 months, and just coming back, be able to play with my guys and just have fun out there. It really means a lot to me and to my team as well.
Well, I'm sure they were pretty glad to have you out there. You were flying around making plays on the defense. You ran the ball pretty darn hard. So good job, and congratulations for that. Tell me a little bit now about moving forward. You got homecoming. You guys have been on the road for 3 straight weeks. What's going to be the focus this week and making sure you guys come up victorious on Friday night?
You know, just watching some more film, making sure we're prepared, and just play hard, play Calaveras football from this week to just from this week and just going forward, just play Calaveras football.
You got it. So you heard it, folks. Number 5, Colton Ray. I'm sure that roster is going to be updated this week so everybody knows who you are. Congratulations again, and best of luck on Friday night.
Thank you, Coach.
You got it. All right, Coach. Colton Ray, number 5, came in late in the game and filled in quite well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you know, we expected it. We've been waiting. You know, he hurt himself in June, you know, broke his collarbone. But he's been there every single day, you know, and so mentally he's there, no problem. We wanted to make sure he was back in the weight room and he was running and in shape before we actually got him in the game, and he's been working hard. I'll give him that, man. He is really, really hard worker, and we only expect him to get better.
Right.
You know, we expect him to put himself in a spot where we depend on him to be there, you know, every Friday night.
You bet. It's kind of a funny dynamic because I'll be up in the booth calling the game, and as the game progresses, you kind of get used to calling the same names. The teams are getting used to, these are our guys, and then all of a sudden, who's this guy? And it's like a big play, and then where's that number? And you're trying to figure out who it is, and it's always exciting because that usually means some guy got into the game and made a big play, and everyone's going, "Who is this kid?" Right?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought it up, the roster. Yeah, because I gotta get him back. I gotta get him on the roster.
Yeah, you got to fix that because especially he gets back into the game, he's probably going to be in on the play.
Yeah.
All right, let's listen to the next young man I had a chance to talk to. His name's Dalton Reed. He's the young man who came in late in the game that on a full speed sprint to catch that punt. He caught it on full speed, ran it back for a touchdown, and then also had that 67-yard bomb for a touchdown reception that Curran connected with him. Let's see what he had to say. All right, I'm with number 13, Dalton Reed, wide receiver, free safety for the Calaveras varsity team. Dalton, you came in off the bench second half of the game last Friday against Riverbank. Had a couple big touchdowns. Congratulations. Tell me how it felt to come off the bench and all of a sudden have such an impact.
Felt great to finally, put some points up on the board for the team. Especially when you're kind of tight and, standing around. But it felt really good to get my first touchdown, varsity touchdown.
Now on that, I think on the first one was a punt return, right?
Yeah.
And it looked like the kick, I was calling the game for KVGC radio, and it looked like it was a very short kick.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if you were going to let it down, but you ran full speed to try to catch it in the air.
Yeah.
Caught it while at full speed.
Yeah.
Tell me the rest, like what you saw after that.
I mean, once I was just worrying about catching the ball. Once I caught it, it almost went blank. It just happened so fast. But, I saw a gap, and I just went through, and then no one touched me. So I just got through.
Took off to the end zone.
Yeah,
all right.
basically.
And then after that, you lined up at wide receiver, and Curran went back to pass and took a 3-step drop and just threw one deep. And
yeah.
Where'd the speed come from?
Honestly, I don't know. Track, probably. Just
Okay.
track training, sprinting.
All right.
A little bit of weight room.
Okay.
Adrenaline.
Sure. So now you got your feet wet against Riverbank. Now it's homecoming after 3 weeks on the road. You're back home. Mm-hmm. Tell me what the focus is for this week to keep winning for Friday night.
Honestly, focus is have a good, week of practice, try my hardest, make sure everyone's locked in for the game. Just go out there, we all play our best and get a win in front of the crowd. It's really the end goal.
All right.
Hopefully make another impact for the team.
You bet. Well, I wish you the best of luck on Friday.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
So Dalton Reed, coach, out of nowhere and already a roster filled with weapons everywhere. And now Dalton Reed comes up and says, hey, don't forget me.
Yeah, just in time. He's a good kid. He's figuring things out, and he's fast. I call him track star.
Yeah.
Half the time.
Yeah,
and so it was good to be able to get him in a spot where we can actually chuck the ball to him. But he's found his way in, and he's actually a good blocker as well. And I think that's something that we overlook when you're fast, right? We think we just throw him the ball, but he can block as well.
Nice.
So he's doing a really good job, man. He's earning his way on the field.
Excellent. Well, it's good to see those guys come up and make an impact and get their time in the spotlight. The next gentleman that I got to speak with was defensive coordinator Doug Clark. Talked to Coach. In your 4 wins, the defense has allowed 10 points or less in all 4 games. So I had a chance to talk for Coach Clark for just a minute before he met with his guys, and let's see what he had to say. All right, I'm with the defensive coordinator at Calaveras High School, Mr. Doug Clark. Coach, you guys are 4-1. In the 4 wins, you've let up 10 points or less in all of those scores. What's been working so far for the team to have that kind of success defensively?
They play very well together. Right now, I'd say our biggest thing is they're buying in, they're doing what we ask them to do, and they're swarming to the ball.
Yeah.
And very, very impressed with that. So,
yeah, I called the game for KVGC on Friday night, and one of the things I said a lot was every time they carried the ball, there was 5-6 white jerseys flying to the football, so definitely agree with that. Tell me about this week. It's homecoming after 3 weeks of being on the road. What's going to be the focus for these guys? All these activities, and now you got to, by the way, we got a game to win on Friday night.
yeah, no, hopefully, stay the course. Just, we got a lot going on. Enjoy the week, but, remember, homecoming's about one thing. I'm telling you the truth. It's
Right.
about the football game.
Right.
And, we have to stay the course and, enjoy yourselves, but remember we're there to do a job. And just need to stay focused.
You bet. Well, I appreciate your time, and good luck on Friday night, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Thank you, Gil.
Yep. All right, Coach. So your defensive coordinator, Coach Doug Clark, absolute defensive legend as far as I'm concerned. I've learned so much from him myself. Any comments on his words about the team?
No, I think he said it all. Coach Clark has a total grasp of what's going on defensively and who's out there and what we're doing. And it makes my job a lot easier.
You bet.
I don't have to worry about it. I can just focus on offense and trying to put points on the board, and the kids love them. You know, he's no BS. You know what I mean?
Straight shooter.
Yep.
All right, you got it. All right, I also had the opportunity to speak with head varsity football coach at River Islands High School, Nick Hardenbrook, and a couple of his players. Let's see what they had to say. All right, so I'm with head varsity football coach Nick Hardenbrook of the River Islands High School, brand new school. Coach, thanks for spending a few moments with us.
Yes, sir.
So last week, first Mother Lode League game against Big Valley, I was doing the game for KBGC, the Calaveras Riverbank game, and I had scores come in. And at one point, you guys were up 8-7 going in the second quarter. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yep.
And then after that, the wheels came off.
Yep.
Describe kind of what happened from there.
Hey, things are starting to come together for us. We're starting to figure it out and piece things together. And so it just comes with us being consistent and pushing it through the whole game. If we can piece it all together, we're so close.
Good.
So close.
Good.
Yeah.
So now going into this coming Friday, it's Calaveras' homecoming game. What's the focus for this week for your guys as far as trying to turn the page and focus on your next opponent?
Hey, focus for this week is just focus on your job. Do what you're coached to do every single day. If we go out there and we put out what we do every day at practice, we got nothing to look back on.
Okay. And then looking at the schedule, I look at all the team schedule, kind of the whole entire Mother Lode League.
Mm-hmm.
You're at Calaveras, Linden, Somerville,
Yep.
arguably the top three teams in the Mother Lode League the next 3 weeks.
A little bit of a grind.
A little bit of a gauntlet there.
Yep.
What are you telling your team as far as to say, hey, let's stay focused and keep doing what we got to do?
Hey, I just stick to what we do. Just stick to practicing and getting through the things that we are good at and that we're trying to work out. We're just trying to build as a program and continue to develop.
You bet. Well, I wish you the best of luck on Friday, and we'll see you guys out there.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
All right, I'm with running back and corner number 12, Idris Alfara, and he plays for River Islands High School. Tell me, Idris, a game at Big Valley last Friday, you guys were up 8-7 at one point, then it kind of went downhill from there. How are you guys able to come back, turn the page, and get ready to move forward for next Friday?
We just got to be ready. One thing that we do have to work on as a team is getting past our, past experiences and things that might have gone wrong. I feel like we get stuck in the past a little too much and we're worried about it. We have to understand that this is a brand new game and that even that first quarter, that first half of that 8-7 lead where, our energy was good and, we were playing, we were having fun, that's when we start to do good. So, we have to take that 4 quarters and, just move past it and get ready for Friday.
Sure. So let's talk about Friday a little bit. You got Calaveras High School. It's their homecoming. You guys are on the road. What's your focus for this week at practice to get ready for them?
We got to learn to be physical and have energy. Like I said, that's what I worked on last Friday against Big Valley at home. It was just energy, from everyone. So we have to have that same thing. Our team's a team that relies a lot on energy and, confidence. So we need to know to be confident. And, upsets happen all the time. We understand that they're a good school. They got good players on their team. So it's our respect. But at the end of the day, we got to go out and do our job and compete.
Sure. All right. Well, you heard it. Number 12, running back, Idris Alfara, and I wish you the best luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. I'm with number 3, George Adea, the River Islands quarterback for this coming Friday night. George, tell me, what have you guys been doing this week in practice to prepare for Calaveras on Friday?
We've just been practicing our energy. Like Idris said, we were happy in the first half, in the first quarter of the game. We were good energy. We were all happy. We weren't worrying about anything messing up because we were all just having fun, having a good time. So we were all just focusing on being precise and making the right decisions and not messing around too much.
Now, I saw a little bit of the film. Looks like you guys like to throw the ball around a little bit. And as the quarterback, what's that do for you as far as saying, facing a team that maybe is predominantly more of a running team and then you guys are more of a passing? Have you guys have you been looking at their defense as far as any adjustments you guys are going to make?
Yeah, throughout film, I've just been looking at them. They have some pretty big kids, but since we're predominantly a passing team, it's just about getting our guys in open field, helping them make a play, and just hopefully the game goes our way with that.
Yeah. So I was talking with your coach. It looks like the next 3 weeks you got Calaveras, Somerville, and Linden, the top 3 teams in the league. Have you guys been talking about that at all?
We've talked about it, but it's like we always focus on the week that's in front of us, and we don't stress about the weeks after that because we're always in the present, never in the future or the past.
Excellent. All right, so that's number 3, the quarterback. We look forward to seeing you out there on Friday night. Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
All right.
That's all.
That's it. All right, Coach, so we call this next segment From Around the League. Obviously, we talked about Calaveras being victorious 55-7 over Riverbank. Tonight, Calaveras goes back home for their homecoming game and is playing host to River Islands in their second Motherlode League game. Big Valley Christian was victorious 52-8 over River Islands. Tonight, Linden will go head over to Modesto to play Big Valley Christian. That should be an interesting game. Bret Hart lost to Somerville 69-6. Ouch. Tonight, Bret Hart has a bye, so they get to recuperate from that. Riverbank obviously lost to Calaveras 55-7. And tonight, it doesn't get any easier, Coach. Riverbank heads up the road to go play Somerville.
Yep.
That's going to be a tough game for them.
Yeah, it is.
Overall, Motherlode League standings thus far. Somerville at the top of the mountain at 4-0, 1-0 in league. Calaveras right behind them at 4-1, also 1-0 in league. Big Valley Christian at 3-1, also 1-0 in league. Linden at 3-1, 0-0 in league. They've yet to play a league game, but tonight they'll play that first league game against Big Valley. Riverbank 3-1, suffered their first loss this last week to Calaveras, and 0-1 in league. River Islands 1-3 overall and 0-1 in league, and Bret Hart at 0-4, 0-1 in league. Once again, I want to say thanks to Guy Dossie, the sports editor of the Calaveras Enterprise and CalaverasEnterprise.com for all the stats that you hear me say on this podcast. That's coming from the Calaveras Enterprise, which means it's coming from Guy Dossie. He always sends me all the latest and greatest, so thank you, Guy Dossie, for that. In other games in the area, Argonaut fell to El Dorado 27-7 in their first league opener. Tonight, Argonaut will be at Union Mine. Amador was victorious 42-20 over Rosemont. And tonight, Amador will be at Liberty Ranch. And Sonora beat Escalon 35-14. And tonight, Sonora is at home versus Orostimba for their homecoming game. Before we move any further, let's hear another word from our sponsor. MRM Stone has over 1,000 natural stone selections, fabrication services, and delivery available. With over 60 years of natural stone sales experience, we stock and sell natural stone thin veneer, flagstone, boulders, pavers, retaining wall block, structural block, cobble, pea gravel, mulch, and the tools necessary to complete your project. Our inside and outside sales staff is eager to help with your landscape or masonry project. Stop on by 2173 Highway 12 in Valley Springs, or go to mrmstone.com or give us a call 209-763-5761. That's 209-763-5761. MRM Stone, your masonry and landscape stone supplier. Treats General Store in San Andreas, California is a proud sponsor of Calaveras football and the Let's Talk Football with Coach Val podcast. Treats General Store has everything you need from groceries, meat, liquors, and hardware. Treats General Store since 1852. All right, welcome back, folks. So we're at the segment now we like to call This Week at Practice. And I also wanted to throw in there maybe This Week at Practice / Keys to the Game. Yep. Because I like to hear a little bit more, Coach, of maybe the X's and O's, or like what's going to be, you know, if there's a passing team and your defensive backs and some of the key matchups and things like that we think might even be important. But so, you know, we got homecoming, we got River Islands coming in. This week at practice, it's homecoming. That's always a challenge as far as, you know, kids have got so many activities going and things going on. Tell me about this week at practice, how it went. Tell me about what River Islands runs, what you should expect, what offensively, defensively, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, considering homecoming, I felt like we had a pretty good week of practice. River Islands, they run, they pass, they spread you out a little bit. We gave up a touchdown last week, so it's been emphasis this week. Make sure we're staying on top of receivers and not letting anyone behind us, and I felt like again, considering a lot of stuff going on this week, you know what I mean, a lot of extracurricular things, and I felt like our focus has been pretty good at practice this week, and I think these guys are ready to go for homecoming. It's not hard to get them fired up for homecoming,
right?
You know that,
right.
They're ready to go. I love our homecoming. We get the Uptown Rally coming up later today. That's always something that gets the team fired up, gets the whole school fired up. And you gotta love this little community.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And one of the things I looked up, Coach, because I was like, I'm inquisitive by nature. Where'd that come from? How'd that start? And I was wondering, where did the homecoming, how did that begin? What is the whole tradition of that? And from what I read and from what I found out, it's all about welcoming back alumni. Mm-hmm. So it's usually involves lots of activities, a game, all the stuff that we're accustomed to. But a part that gets left out is it's a welcoming party to welcome back alumni, welcome back the home team. Homecoming usually happens on a week followed by the team being gone on the road for several weeks, right? So it's homecoming. So Calaveras has been gone for 3 straight weeks on the road. Now we have homecoming. Now the missing piece, alumni. Where you at?
Yeah.
We know you're out there. We know you're in the surrounding areas. We'd love to see alumni out there on homecoming night to make that crowd even bigger than what it is. To remember all of your times at Calaveras High during homecoming and all of that good stuff. So be sure to come out for the game, Friday Night Lights. It doesn't get better than that, especially on a homecoming night.
Not at all. And something we talked about this week with the team is tradition. Our school's been around a while. Small town, small school. It's been around a long time. We've been playing football in the Motherlode League for 94 years.
Wow.
Tradition has been built up by alumni. These people have been there, done that before. We are here doing it now, and I have a pretty good feeling that we're going to have a lot of alumni at the football game this week, fired up, ready to see this team play some football.
You bet. I'll be calling the game on KVGC Radio as always, 1340 and 96.5 on kvgcradio.com. You can download the KVGC Radio app, hit the oldies button, hit play, and you'll be live and all the play-by-play action. Coach, any last thoughts as far as keys to the game? Obviously, River Islands are going to look at that, maybe that first play that Riverbank did and saw, hey, they bid on this. Maybe we get them on a couple little hook and ladders or something to bite to try to get you down the field. I'm sure you got your guys prepared for that.
We're ready for it.
All right.
I'm not worried about it this week. I really do. I believe our guys are ready to go. Good week of practice. Again, homecoming, they're fired up. I think our guys are ready to go, man. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, excellent. So am I. All right, so I already told you how to listen to the game on KVGC Radio, so be sure to do that. It's going to be a big game. I'm sure it's going to be a big crowd at Frank Meyer Field in San Andreas at Calaveras High School, as it always is for homecoming games. This is the time of the show where Coach Val has to get a few things off his chest, and I'm gonna preface this with a lot of this doesn't have anything to do with football, Coach, but they always tell me it's good to get it off your chest, right? I was like, so this is like therapy for me, so deal with me here for a second, all right?
Yep, no problem.
Some random thoughts. People who leave long messages on voicemail. Give me a break. The voicemail literally gives you instructions. Leave your name and number, and then I'll call you back. But no, you have to leave your whole life story on my voicemail. Your manifesto on life has to be on my voicemail. Knock it off. Leave a message. Starbucks. Starbucks, make a line for people that just want coffee. You are a coffee joint, right? Step aside, you people that are like, I'll take a Trente iced coffee with 6 pumps of vanilla, 16 pumps of white mocha, add an affogato shot, a separate cup of ice filled 3/4 of the way. Get out of the way! People are trying to get coffee, for Christ's sake. Starbucks, get a line for people that just want coffee. Writing a check in the express lane at the grocery store. Are you kidding me? It's an express lane. Express. Not Pony Express, like in the olden days with the mail. I got 2 words for you people. Debit card. Get you one. CVS. I don't need a 24-foot receipt when I only bought 1 bottle of aspirin. Let me get this straight. You'll charge me 10 cents for a bag as a deterrent so that I don't use the bag in an effort to save the planet. Then turn around and kill enough trees to furnish a mansion on my receipt, just so I know that I've got a 30-cent coupon on that same bottle of aspirin the next time I come in. By the way, my CVS receipt is still printing. Give me a break, people. You know how I get through all these stressors of daily life? Friday night lights. Calaveras Red Hawk football. That's what gets me through it. What do you got going on in your life? You got pet peeves like Coach Val does? Get down to Frank Meyer Field in San Andreas for Calaveras Red Hawk football. It's homecoming. Calaveras Red Hawk football. Let's go! That felt good.
You know, my wife might be the one that's in front of you at Starbucks
with that long mile
with the crazy drink.
I need this. I need it. Make sure it's 142 degrees.
Sorry, babe.
All right. Well, thanks for indulging me in that. Want to make sure that I thank all of you out there for listening. Thanks to Coach Manny Mossa for taking the time to come out and do this. And good luck tonight, Coach.
Thank you.
If you're enjoying the podcast, please follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Let's Talk Football with Coach Val. Be sure to share the page with all your followers and friends. You can now text the show a message under the send us a text message link in the podcast page you're using. And, of course, you can always shoot us an email at gilbertvaltier@gmail.com. Be sure to tune in to games live every Friday night, 7 p.m. by downloading the KVGC radio app and clicking on the oldies button. And you could also listen to a brand new episode of Let's Talk Football with Coach Val every Friday morning to get the latest news, scores, and happenings of the Motherlode League and surrounding areas of football every week during the football season. Before we go, I'm going to send all of you out, the Calaveras faithful out there, as most of you probably know. I want to send my heartfelt condolences to the Clifton family. Calaveras County is lost a beloved brother in Craig Clifton. He battled for so long. He's a wonderful father, husband, coach, brother, friend, and the Calaveras faithful has lost somebody that we're going to remember for a very long time. And our hearts and prayers go out to the Clifton family, and our condolences to all of you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're big hole in this community without him, no question. And you know, Clifton family, man, they're unbelievably just resilient family. You know, this isn't something that just happened. They've been going through this for a while, and you know, like you said, hearts and prayers go out to them.
You bet. And they are a resilient family. They're a staple here in this county, and even in Tuolumne. Their family has just done so much for so many people. And if there's a VIP section in heaven, I know Coach Clifton's got his spot just waiting for him. All right, till next time, folks. We're out.
throws, and it's intercepted. It's intercepted by number 22. That's Clifton. He's got the left edge. Turns on the Jets. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Calaveras. What a play. Up to a running back. That's Ferrante over to the right side. He comes back up the middle. He's got room. One man to beat. He turns on the Jets. There he goes. Touchdown, Calaveras. What a play.